So the time has come, guys. You've watched coding tutorials on here, design tutorials, but finally what you've all been waiting for, politics. No, that's not what we're talking about. We are still talking about design. This was floating around the internet here. And it's, there's real sort of like fundamental design stuff going on here, which is fascinating. Okay. So nothing about politics here. Let's just jump into it. So you see this picture here, and the thing that's funny about it is that there's some sort of design mistake going on because there's an ambiguity. Does this person not like Trump, or does he like Trump? Right? Because if it's going this way, F Trump, oh, well, then he doesn't like Trump and he wants Biden in 2024. But if it's read vertically in these columns down first and we go F Biden, so he doesn't like Biden and he wants Trump in 2024. So what's going on? Well, there are three things going on here. Three problems with this design that's applicable to all your designs. There's really good lessons in here, right? Tests that you can do with your own designs, and they have to do with proximity, hierarchy, and cultural things. So let's talk about proximity first, right? The principle of proximity in design is that things that are closer together are related. They're grouped together. They have something in common, right? You're supposed to think about them as a group. So let's think through this right here. When we look at this, like right now on the screen, you're like, oh, those are just like four things that are equally related because the spacing between the elements is the same. So you say, oh, that's a group of four. That's what you would say. It's a group of four. They have something in common, right? Well, what would you think if I did this, right? What would you say? You might say, I don't know anything about these things. They're just like blue dots. Yeah, but you can say something about them. And what you can say is that, oh, now there's two groups. Like the top two things go together in some way, and the bottom two things go together in some way. They're related somehow. Of course, we don't know how, because in this right here, the only graphical information we're getting is shape and color, right? Which is not very much, but when you're in a full design, you'll have type, you'll have images that communicate more contentful information, right? But here we just know, oh, there are definitely two groups. There's definitely two things going on. Okay, so what if we did this? You're like, oh, now the groups change. Now you have a group on the right and a group on the left, right? Or if I did this back together, now we're back to nothing. Okay, so what does this have to do with this design right here? So the first thing is what you have right here, this first one with the four ones equally spaced apart, is this design. And that's communicating that there's no grouping, right? These things are equally related. They're either in one group or they don't have anything to agree with one another. They're just there, but it's neutral. It's not telling us anything. Every word is equally related. So the Trump is equally related to the 2024 as it is to the F, and the F to the Biden, and all those things. They're all equally related. So we can't make any judgment based on the design. Okay, what's next? Well, next we have hierarchy, and specifically under hierarchy, there's all the different ways to determine your hierarchy through scale and through directionality and through all, color and whatever. But here, we're just looking at the one property of hierarchy of directionality. So, and in the West, or in language and cultures that read from left to right, then the principle is that things are in hierarchical relation from left to right and from top to bottom. So you read this sentence, and the thing of first hierarchical importance in this is Gerald, right? It's the first thing going on. And then you read to the end of the line, and then you go down, right? So you start up at the left and the top left, that's the first. And so whatever's visually over there in that direction. Now, if you were in another country that reads, for instance, Hebrew, where you go right to left, but still top to bottom, then the hierarchy would be different. But here, it's left to right. Okay, so what does this have to do here? Well, notice the same thing. We've got left to right and top to bottom. So as in our last principle, the way that it's set up with spatially with its proximity, that told us nothing, right? But here we're going left to right and top to bottom. So here it should be F Trump, then Biden 2024, right? So in this case, it would be this person does not like Trump, right? So before we were neutral, and now we're saying, oh, the design is communicating that he doesn't like Trump. Okay, but we got one more thing. We've got the cultural aspect that we'll look at the end of our sort of like review here. So with proximity, right, we are told nothing. It's neutral. That's what it's visually communicating. With the hierarchy, how the hierarchy with its directionality is saying that, oh, this person likes Biden because they're saying F Trump Biden 2024. But then we know from the photo for like cultural reasons, right? No judgments. Just when we read it, we can say, hey, typically when the car looks like this, when the flag looks like this, it's, just statistically, this person probably likes Trump, right? That's probably what's going on here. And so from other cultural and like social cues, context cues, we can say, oh, this person likes Trump. So notice what's going on here. So we've got two different design decisions that were made in this, but they are each communicating something different. One design decision, proximity, is saying like, I'm not making any judgments, right? I'm not putting any cards out there, right? So it's being neutral, right? And that's like in your design when you have things that are just flat and they're not distinguished enough and there's no hierarchy. So you're like, oh, I don't like know what to see. So you can just think, let's say you have like a concert poster, and so the title of the concert, the artist, if there's a name to it, the date, the location. Let's say they're all in the same type size, same type weight. They're equally spaced out. That would be the equivalent of this problem. And you have a problem of proximity because everything that would be specifically with a space, but you can say it overall. It's not telling us anything. It's be like, hey, wait, like why does it all look like this, right? It's confusing. Like what should I look at first, a second, a third? But then in the hierarchy, and this is where the main problem for this gentleman's design on the back of his truck is that the hierarchy going left to right, he's set up incorrectly because he doesn't want to communicate that he likes Biden. He does the opposite, but he designed the hierarchy in the wrong way. And this can often happen in designs where you see something and it'll like feel wrong. And what feels wrong is your thesis, your main point, is being contradicted by the design decisions you made. And then you've got the cultural one last. So the big principle in all of this is that you want to go through all of your aesthetic decisions. What aesthetic properties have you chosen? And you can literally like make a list and check them off and be like, okay, is the hierarchy right? Is the proximity right? And by right, does it mean, does it correspond with the thesis that I'm trying to communicate? Now, thesis just in the general sense, like whatever you're trying to communicate, like this is the concert and where it is. This is the CD cover. This is the lipstick brand I'm designing a web page for, whatever it is. But you want all the design decisions to be supporting your main thesis. So I hope that is all political enough for you, and I'll see you in the next video.